Ooh. What do we have here? There's so much cool stuff here to play with, but I think I'm going to start by turning the bolt action pen. I've always wanted to turn one of these. I know some of you guys at home are curious. You're like, Peter, do you just splurge this often on just random kits and fun stuff to play with? The answer is no. I'm very careful with my money. This is a gift from Rockler. Now, I have no affiliation with Rockler. I'm not in any way being paid to say this. This is not a sponsorship. This is not any of that. Don't leave this video. You stay right there. Rockler sent me just all of this cool stuff to play with, and they said it was a way to support me because I'm a young kid, and they wanted to encourage me and keep me going making things. So this was all just a way of them saying and expressing their appreciation for this channel and what I do. So again, thank you, Rockler. I cannot thank you guys enough. So we are going to be taking a look at some of the cool stuff here, in particular these carbide tools and the dust collection system, but I'm not going to get distracted. This is a somewhat instructional video on how to turn the bolt action pen. Like I said earlier, this is not a sponsorship. I don't like being paid to say things. I'm not that type of a person. Unless your goals really line up with mine, only then and only then will I ever be paid to do anything. I'm a Rolling Stone. You can't tie me down. Okay, let's go ahead and make this. Alright, so my blank is cut to length, drilled, and the ends have been trimmed with my barrel trimmer to flatten them out. And now I'm going to mount it on the lathe. Number one on the cool items from Rockler list is this adjustable Pen Mandrel. This thing's pretty cool, and I've heard of these, and I never had one, and I didn't really know how they worked. But basically, this differs from other Pen Mandrels because you can adjust the length of it to however long or short you need. And this does a couple things. One, you won't have to use all those spacer bushings to fill out the extra space on the mandrel. And that doesn't really matter for me though, because I do have this pen center here and I can just bring it square up to wherever my bushing starts. But what is cool about this for me is that by shortening this, you're going to take a lot of the bow out of the mandrel so it won't flex as much under that pressure. So anyways, we're just going to go ahead and put that right there. Here's a cool tip. I always keep this magnetic parts tray on the top of my lathes. I have these, a couple of them in the workshop, and they're super handy. Put on the first bushing, followed by the pen blank. And the second bushing can go on. And I will bring up my revolving center to support it. The second thing on the cool thing from Rockler list that I want to show is the Dust Right lathe dust collection. Just a side note, this is hooked up to my 2 horsepower El Cheapo Harbor Freight dust collector. Important note, I'm going to be using these carbide cutters that I just built myself as well as the ones that Rockler sent me, and I want to share something with you guys. For the carbide cutters to work properly, you want it to be at dead center, not above or below. So I've made this little thing here, a little scrap of hardwood, and this guy goes on my tool rest, just in between the tool rest and the banjo. And it's like a kind of like a little stop collar that I made myself to set the tool rest height to perfect center. Okay, I've turned that down to a profile that I really like. It's nice and even with the bushings on both ends. And I'm going to go ahead and sand this from 180 through 220, 320, 400, 600, and up to 800. If you thought that this dust collection was good for chips, which it is, this thing is dynamite for sanding. Check this out. Finish my pen with some polyacrylic finishing. This is a urethane mixed with an acrylic top coat, and it's a pretty strong and durable finish, especially if you put on a lot of coats, but it does not stick to HDPE. I'm simply using these bushings here to save and lengthen the life of my metal bushings. First thing is clear off the dust. Gonna go to the clean side of that paper towel. Okay, now we're just gonna get a little bit on the paper towel and wipe it on. Not a tricky finish, though you do want to take this up to at least 7 coats. Each coat is very thin and it dries pretty quickly, but it is a pretty involved process. Yeah, that first coat doesn't have to be perfect. Now we can sand off the texture. And apply our next coat. Okay, that is 11 coats of the polyacrylic. It looks pretty nice. Nice semi-gloss finish. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and assemble it. And I'll come back when the whole thing's assembled. Alright guys, and that's it for this video. The pen came out really good. I'll throw up some pictures somewhere. That was the first bolt action pen that I've ever made, and I'm really proud of it. It's my new personal pen, you can say. And in the video, I showed some of the cool tools I got from Rockler, and mainly these carbide cutters were what I turned the pen with, and I really like these. I like the rubber grip handle on them. They're very nice. They're very easy to use. As far as comparing them to my homemade ones, they both kind of do the same thing. There's really not much of a difference. I will say if I had to choose, I like mine better because they're longer and they have more leverage, but that doesn't really matter with pen turning, so I'm not knocking these. They both do the same exact thing. And I think if you're willing to make one, go for that, and if not, I'd recommend Rocklers. Then again, I don't have experience working with these carbide tools, so I'm not really quite sure what to compare them to except for my own. So, do you like winning free stuff? What a weird coincidence, I do too! We're like twins or something. So that means you should go on over to my giveaway. I don't know why it means that, but it does. There's a lot of cool free stuff up for grabs there, including one of those lathe dust collection systems that you saw in this video. The giveaway is going on until next Friday, and all you have to do, get a load of this. Go to the comments of that video, I'll throw a link up somewhere, and type, are you ready? GA for giveaway. Just type GA, you're automatically entered. I'll draw random winners, and you don't even have to pay shipping. If you win, all you have to do is get with me with your address, and I'll send it out to you. There are 15 prizes up for grabs, and there's currently about 80 people entered, so there's a pretty high chance you're going to win something. So there's nothing holding you back from going to that video and entering, and if you don't like getting free stuff, then there's something wrong with you. Who doesn't like getting free stuff? Free! Okay, guys, this video is done now, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next Friday.